Hi friends, my name is Emily. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you my 2023 reading goals. I am planning on filming a 2022 stats wrap-up. That's a bullet journal related video, but time. Time has gotten away from me. I have a couple of big things happening today. Actually, I just got out of a job interview. That's why I'm dressed fancy. And I'm about to host a very long meeting for my secret contract work. So my first goal is once again to attempt to read 100 books. Does this really matter if I achieve it or not? No, but I think it's nice to have a number to aim for. So the second goal is to create projects around my TBR. A lot of the books, there are a good chunk of books here that are purchased with projects in mind. While I'm doing freelance contract work, maybe this is the time to actually make those projects happen. And so by setting this as a goal, I'm hoping to refocus on some of these books that I've acquired over the years for video projects. The third goal is to borrow diversely from Libby. I am once again doing a no-buy, low-buy year. When new books come into my life, I would like to question myself, question what I am borrowing. I would like to borrow with more intention. Number 4 is once again following the no-buy rules. So my no-buy, I feel like, worked out decently well, if not in actual practice, because I had a little slip up there when I was sad. But in terms of working to reset my buying habits, I feel like the no-buy has been very effective. There has been very little impulse purchasing aside from the one slip up last year. I did a fairly good job about sticking to my wish list and having a quarterly treat, except after that slip up when I did not give myself a quarterly treat. I have purchased the next book in the series because that is one of the rules that is allowed, and I am prioritizing reading it right away. I have done that throughout 2022. I would like to do that again in 2023 with the things that I'm allowed to buy, trying to find them used. So for the Red Rum Book Club this year, I'm missing one title, Cycle of the Werewolf by Stephen King. And so instead of going on to Indigo, there would be the temptation to be like, is it worth it to ship like a $10 book? Like, obviously you want free shipping, add more things. So no. Where possible, I'm going to look for missing book club books used so that I go into used bookstores with a mission to look for a single book. I avoid the temptation of like putting extra things in the cart for shipping, because that's another place where I fuck up, especially if shipping's going to be the cost of another book, you know? I play this game with myself and it's bad and I need to stop because I want to rein in these buying habits, retrain buying. The other thing that I am allowing myself is the quarterly treat. The quarterly treat I found was really effective because I would be watching booktube videos, looking at Bookstagram, listening to podcasts, and hear about these titles and impulse purchase them. Hello, TBR. Right? By making a quarterly wish list last year, what I found was that once I went through that, I didn't remember why some of the things went on the wish list. And then once I really started looking into them, looking at reviews, like having to pick and narrow down a title, it was more difficult to choose a single title than it would have been to add all of them to my cart, which I think is something interesting. Like the idea that once something is like precious and you're only allowed one, that you really want it to be the right one. And I think that that is important in terms of retraining my like impulsive book buying. So I am going to revisit and reinsert the quarterly treat. The last no-buy rule is that I'm allowed to buy physical copies for the book clubs that I'm hosting because I personally enjoy a physical book. That is my preferred form of reading, and I want to enjoy the experience of reading. From the missing titles for the 2 book clubs that I host, I have to purchase 4 titles. I'm allowing myself to purchase those 4 titles for the book clubs that I host. My 5th goal is to improve my BIPOC author stats, and I think this is going to go hand in hand with borrowing from Libby. I have already acknowledged that I have accumulated a TBR that is fairly white, especially because a lot of this was accumulated during my master's thesis where I was studying fantasy literature, and a lot of the texts that I was picking up were foundational texts. They were texts that I had missed out on, but were being referenced by scholars as good examples of XYZ while I was studying. And so I kept picking up these books, reading bits and pieces, reading like, again, doing the whole like, oh, free shipping, here, let me purchase the whole Robin Hobb series instead of just one to try it out for that example, right? So like I've accumulated a backlog that is not particularly diverse. So I want to try and improve my BIPOC author stats. They are improved now that I am actually tracking them and being cognizant of reading diversely, seeing what different voices are doing within genres that I like, but they could be better. And especially if the place where new books are coming in, new to me books are coming in, is through Libby, borrowing, requesting arcs even, with the idea that I want to push myself to explore new authors, new voices, and read diversely. That is a priority for me. The 6th goal is the Tamora Pierce reread. I have been talking about this for years. Last year I said I was going to do it. I started it. I have vlog footage for I think the first 2 books in the Immortal series, and that's where I stalled. So I would like to put this back on the list to prioritize that. I think it will be interesting in terms of challenging myself, reading old faves, but with grown-up, more critical eyes. I would really like to do that. My 7th goal is to DNF and unhaul generously. I have many books that you could perhaps say are DNFs where I've stuck a bookmark in it and left it for years because it wasn't the right time or it wasn't the right place. But maybe I need to take a serious look at, when I get stuck on something, why? I live in a city with a decent library. I have reasonable pocket money coming in through Patreon that if at some point I would like to purchase that book again and bring it back into my life, or to find a copy of that book again, I can. So in the meantime, if I'm not enjoying it, if I'm struggling with it, I would like to DNF and unhaul generously. Unhauling generously also applies to things that I don't think that I'll read again. Last year, a lot of the books that I read sat in that like 2.5 star, 3-star reads of like, it was okay. This isn't a new favorite. And a lot of them sat in a place where there also wasn't, this is gonna sound awful, but there wasn't value for somebody who creates content to hold on to a book that I don't see being useful to bring up in videos. If it's not something that I could see having a repeatable theme that like I'm interested in, that I would bring up in live streams and book discussions, like, you know, those books that you read and they're just fine? I think I need to be more okay with letting those go. So I feel like those are achievable goals, those are reasonable goals, and they're goals that I'm excited about, which I think is the most important part, that they're books, they're goals that I'm excited to try to achieve. I'm looking forward to this new year of reading, new year of exploring literature, new year of pushing my boundaries and tackling this TBR. Let me know in the comments down below if you have set any reading goals for yourself. Before we go, we also have to thank my patrons who make videos like this possible. I really appreciate the work that they enable me to do. If you are interested in supporting the channel, in getting access to the patron exclusive Red Rum Book Club, which is a Stephen King exclusive book club, reading through King's bibliography in publication order, that is available to patrons at all tiers, starting at $1 a month. So if you are interested in that, in supporting the channel and having access to that kind of content, a link to the Patreon page is always in the description box down below. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you are doing well, that you are staying safe, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye!